Welcome to Taffy Talks Twaddle 2. It's just finalising my previous video by including a couple of pieces that I didn't have time to include when I made the original one. It's just addressing a couple of points that remained left over unaddressed from Taffy's video. I know they've been addressed by others, probably far more comprehensively than I can do, but I just wanted to cover a few points. The first one being this. People have seen this a lot from Taffy. His imagination sees faces everywhere. He sees an alien here. That's the Mr. Strange influence. Mr. Strange, if you saw the previous video, does believe that the Earth is run by aliens. So to see aliens on the moon doesn't surprise them, I guess. He points at all sorts of odds and sods here, but we've seen that before. That's the original photograph, where it's fairly clear to anyone with a bit of sense that that is someone's arm, and those creases are in the suit and around the elbow joint area. Here's one I made myself, just for you, Taffy. Here you go. There's an eye here, there's a nose there, there's a mouth there. You can see these things everywhere if you really try hard. Now, don't get overexcited. This didn't happen on the moon. This is a fake photograph. I did it myself. And I did it by using this image. And if you look closely, that's the bit I used. The creased elbow. Look at this, Taffy. What do you think that is? I think this is an eye, a nose, a mouth here with a chin, big forehead. I think it's an Indian chief with a headdress on. Don't you? Shoulders. Excellent. This must be a NASA whistleblower, this, who's been on here. It's either that, or could that just be the Isle of Skye? Who knows? The other thing that I know has been done better than I'm going to do is shadows. Here, the ground is uneven, the shadows follow the contours in the ground, and therefore they don't look parallel. If that ground was flat, they would look parallel-ish, although they will come to a convergence point somewhere off in the distance. Here, more shadows. You can see that goes off there, this goes off at that angle, this goes off at that angle. You can see they're heading for a convergence point somewhere off towards the top of the image. If I delete those for us, we can look at what's happening here. You can see that shadow goes up there, and then it goes off a slightly different angle, and over there they run off a subtly different angle again. Shadows of the trees, all running off different directions, all due, as you can see, to the undulations in the ground here. That's snow, Taffy. You don't recognise it. It's not on the moon. That's on Earth somewhere. Again, don't want to labour the point. An old photograph, you can get this off the internet anywhere. You can see the photographer there. Someone in their image there, and there's a shadow there as well going off that way. You see there's a vanishing point off that way somewhere. Those are going to converge in the distance. Tyre tracks. On the moon, Taffy gets exercised when the tyre tracks on the rover are 45 degrees. Why do they look like they're 90 degrees, like here? Well, because of here, Taffy, look, 45 degrees here, and as they go off into the distance, the perspective changes and they look at 90 degrees. They're not 90 degrees, by the way. They're actually 45 degrees, but they do look like they're at 90 degrees. That's what perspective does for us. There's another sample of that here. If you look at this image, definitely 45 degree angles here. But you notice here they get shallower, 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 until in the distance they're beginning to become horizontal. Perspective, Taffy, perspective. My favourite one here, I like this one. You can see 45-degree angles here. Follow this track round, and here you can see definitely look like they're 90 degrees there, but we know they're not. We know they're 45. We know here and here it's perspective that makes them look like they're not at 45 degrees. There's another one. I'll just have a quick look at that. That does the same. And even this image, Taffy didn't like this image when I pointed at it, because it was a drawing. People can draw anything, but these people are drawing perspective. 45 degrees here, and you can see them flattening out there until they look horizontal in the distance. That's perspective paddy. Apologies to the paddies out there. That's perspective Taffy. Now Taffy also challenged me to tie a bit of string to my belt, get a friend to tie a bit of string to his belt and pull it taut, and if we could video that. He wanted just to dangle a ball off it for some reason and then pull it straight. Well, I kept telling him that the string on its own would never be straight. This is a simple diagram and a simple explanation. It is actually more complex than this. Taffy, I keep telling it a rope between there and there would form a catenary on its own, a string. It would bend under the influence of gravity and its own weight. Even a thin string would still be influenced by gravity. It would never ever be horizontal. Tying a ball onto it and weighing it down, there was no chance at all of making it horizontal because of gravity. Here, this is oversimplified where it needs to be, I think, for you to understand it. This is a very, very simplified explanation of the string being under the influence of gravity on its own. There's some sums down here which you're brilliant. These won't be much of a challenge to you. And it assumes that the string has all its mass at its centre of gravity. That's why it's straight lines here. But have a look at that and then look up catenary to see how that will change for a piece of string in real life. I thought you'd enjoy that. Hope for the rest of you will enjoy this. This was cracking. When I was looking around the internet, I found this on Wikipedia. I looked up Taz, which is Taffy's avatar, and it says here, Taz is generally portrayed as a ferocious, albeit dim-witted. We agree with that. Omnivore with notoriously short temper and little patience. We agree with that. Though he can be very devious. Yeah, we agree with that. He's also sweet at times. Never seen that. His enormous appetite seems to know no bounds, as in really anything in his path. He is best known for his speech. Consists mostly of grunts, growls and rasps. Yeah, we agree with that. His earlier appearances, he does speak English with primitive grammar. Yeah, we agree with that. As well as his ability to spin like a vortex and bite through nearly anything. Taz does have one weakness. He can be calmed by almost any music. Wow, we're going to have to start putting music on our videos. While in a calm state, it can be easily dealt with. Don't know about that. There you go. You can pause that and have a laugh yourself. That's the end. I didn't want it to last long, and I know people have done this far better than me, but I just wanted to close off a few points that were left open from Taffy's video. So special thanks to Expat Taffy himself, Mr. Strange, for providing something to debunk here for you. Goodbye.